Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the SmackDown report for the 9th of April 2021. Um, I don't know. Rough go home show for Mania. I will say, I am happy with Mania. I think I will enjoy the post Mania week shows. I don't think I will enjoy shows 2 weeks from now. Mania itself has been built poorly, but the matches are intriguing. So in the end, what I think we get, much like with the NXT Stand and Deliver, is a peek into what wrestling in WWE could be if they actually gave a damn. Um, that's what it feels like anyway. So Daniel Bryan segment, he makes his way out to the ring. He notes that he's excited for Mania weekend. He can't wait to see the set, smell the pyro, and hear the fans. He loves the Thunderdome, but there's nothing better than being in front of live people. You don't say. Uh, there's nothing better than winning the title in front of people. Again, you don't say. Bryan points out that has he's associated with the word yes, but he's been told no many times in his career. People told him he couldn't make it in WWE, he couldn't main event WrestleMania, but his friends and family wouldn't let him stay negative. Bryan notes that everyone said no, and he said yes. Adam Pearce said no, he couldn't headline WrestleMania, but he said yes as well eventually. Bryan points out that Sunday night is the biggest match of his career, which is kind of dumb considering he's already won the championship before. Anyway, Bryan knows Edge and Reigns are very dangerous. However, they're not facing the family man, they're facing a dangerous Daniel Bryan. He asks, can Daniel Bryan walk out of the main event as champion? He started doing the yes chant. Good promo. In the back, Kayla Braxton interviews Street Profits. They're doing the yes chant. They promise to win the tag team titles tonight. Ziggler and Rude jump them from behind. Ray and Dominic, Chad Gable and Otis run out, and all four teams break into a huge brawl. This is just to fill time on TV. Fatal 4-Way. I hate these types of matches, but anyway. Ziggler and Rude defeat Ray Dominic, Street Profits, Gable and Otis to retain the titles. It's a cluster mess. Ziggler and Rude have an early advantage. They isolate Dominic, who they've completely wasted since SummerSlam, on their side of the ring. Rude basically locks him in a chinlock. Gable makes a blind tag and works over his arm. Ray tags in and hits a back elbow. Ray attempts a moonsault. Gable catches him. Ray reverses into a DDT. Rude breaks up the pin attempt. All four teams end up brawling. Ray hits a dive into Gable and Otis. Dominic follows up with a moonsault to the floor. We go to break. We come back. Ford nails Rude with a drop kick for near fall. Rude regains control, hitting a spinebuster on Ford. Otis tags in, rocks Ford with a clothesline. Ziggler slows the pace down with a chinlock. Ziggler attempts Famouser. Ford countered with a powerbomb. Dawkins gets a hot tag, runs wild, hits a splash in the corner. Ray makes a blind tag. Ray and Dominic take over. Double 619 on Ziggler and Rude. Dominic follows up with a frog splash. Otis breaks up pin attempt. All four teams brawl around and dive. You know, typical stupid non-psychology stuff. Finish comes when Gable gives Dawkins a German suplex. Ford makes blind tag. He comes in, hits a huge frog splash on Gable. Ziggler makes a second or third blind tag, nails Ford with a super kick, and then Ziggler pins Gable for the win. Kayla Braxton interviews Bianca Belair. She admits she's nervous for tomorrow night. That doesn't mean she's scared. She's excited to prove what she can do. And then Sasha Banks is noted as dangerous. Says she'll do whatever, or Kayla implies she'll do whatever it takes to win. Belair notes she's strongest, fastest, which makes her dangerous, and she's going to defeat Banks to win the title. Big E goes to the barber, Big J in Tampa. Big E notes that he's from Tampa and comes here to get in the right mindset. He promised Apollo Crews that this is where his dreams will end. And ultimately, not a bad promo. Video package of The Fiend and Randy Orton. Junk. Who cares? Speaking of who cares, Tamina with Natalya defeating Nia Jax with Reginald and Shayna Baszler. Disqualification. Jax and Tamina have a average-ish match until the finish. They lock up. Jax uses her power, pushes her down, lock up again. Tamina overpowers Jax. Reginald jumps up on the apron. Tamina tries to pull him off. Baszler gets him out of the way, takes advantage and gains control. Jax beats down Tamina, but ends up running into the ring post. Tamina climbs to the top. Baszler tries to interfere again. Natalya and Baszler brawl at ringside. Jazz attempts the Samoan drop, and Tamina slips out. Tamina goes for the Samoan drop. Jax slips out. Basically, it's moves with women who haven't been pushed, so who really cares? Tamina then rocks Jax with a super kick and hits a Samoan drop. Baszler jumps up on the ring for disqualification. Braxton interviews Riot Squad in the back. Billie Kay shows up with her tag partner Camilla. They argue. Naomi and Lana come out, and Mandy Rose and Dan Brooks come out. Again, all the teams get into a huge brawl, and then Tamina and Natalya jump them. Tamina and Natalya jump everybody, and they dominate the beatdown, and there looks to be an injury to Liv Morgan. They air a video for the feud between Cesaro and Seth Rollins. Edge comes out. He's in a chair in the middle of the ring. He talks about going to WrestleMania 6 and seeing Hogan and Warrior. Edge knew that night what he needed to do with his life. Edge did everything he ever was going to do. He made his dreams into reality. The only thing he didn't do was choose when he ended his career. He got a title shot at WrestleMania 37. Edge mocks Bryan for claiming that WrestleMania could be his last. And then Edge again makes fun of Bryan for trying to take a title shot at WrestleMania instead of clash between Edge and Reigns. It's a triple threat. He called Bryan an indie bookstore troll, which is just funny. Bryan's so far removed from the indie world that it doesn't even make sense for the comment. Anyway, Edge calls Reigns Samoan Edge. He notes that Reigns started his career in a 3-person group, enters through the crowd, uses a spear just like him. Edge pointed out that most of the fans are into Bryan except that lemmings chant yes or what. Edge also points out he came back from injury and nobody in sports entertainment or sports has ever done it that way. Took him 9 years to come back and he's not phoning it in. He's doing Ronda's off the top. Edge demands respect. He promises to be the next world champion because he dreams it, he dreamt it, and now he'll manifest it. Edge probably gave the best promo of the year. And then in the back, Sonia Deville and Adam Pearce discuss WrestleMania. Deville doesn't think it's fair to make Ziggler and Rude defend against 3 teams. Pearce is confused. Deville also disagrees with the triple threat main event. Anyway, Kayla Braxton interviews Women's Champion Sasha Banks. Banks mocks Belair for thinking that she's the best. Banks notes that nobody cares about Belair, but wants to hear from her. She promises to defeat her and win the title. They are a video package looking at Bobby Lashley against Drew McIntyre. They run the angle with Sami Zayn, Logan Paul, and Kevin Owens from last week. Earlier in the week, Zayn visits Logan and Jake Paul training at a gym in Miami. Zayn runs out to get his stuff to spar with Logan and Jake Paul. He goes outside but couldn't get back into the gym. Zayn bangs on the door and nobody will let him back in. He looks like a geek. Anyway, Michael Cole and Corey Graves are laughing at Zayn. Zayn runs over to the announce table, starts ranting, and he's furious that they showed this footage. Participants for the Battle Royal make their way out, and suddenly Kevin Owens jumps Zayn, and they brawl. Everything is brawl, brawl, brawl to build up intrigue because, well, we haven't really got anything terribly intriguing. Anyway, next throwaway segment is the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. No one really cares about Battle Royals except fans who are just flipping channels and who go, oh, there's lots of guys in the ring, this will be cool. Anyway, Battle Royal participants, Tozawa, Garza, Cedric Alexander, Drew Gulak, Elias, Eric, where's he been? Grand Metalik, Carrillo, Jason Riker, Jay Uso, Kalisto, King Corbin, Lindsay Dorado, Mace, Murphy, Mustafa Ali, Ricochet, Sheldon Benjamin, Shinsuke Nakamura, Slapjack, T-Bar, and Tucker. If you like Battle Royals, I guess this was fine. I don't, never have, never will, so to me it's a waste of time. And it's participation trophy wrestling here, in that everybody has to get on the WrestleMania week shows, otherwise somebody's feelings are going to get hurt. Anyhow, Benjamin and Alexander, they work together for a minute. They throw out Tozawa, then they throw out Tucker. Other participants are on the other side of the ring. Benjamin and Alexander try to take them out, but they get overpowered. Benjamin and Alexander are next out. Back from the break, Eric's beating up Riker. Elias saves him. Elias and Riker work together, toss out Eric. T-Bar and Mace then throw out Gulak. They follow that with tossing out Carrillo. And then T-Bar and Mace square off with Elias and Riker. They quickly go, and then Ollie sneaks up behind Mace. T-Bar tries to chokeslam Ollie. Murphy makes the save. Then T-Bar gets thrown out. Metalik and Dorado team up working with Kalisto, but then they turn on him. We go to another break. We come back. Final 7. Garza and Murphy fight on the apron. Murphy tried to jump back in. Corbin shoves him to the floor. Nakamura nails Garza with a knee, but he holds on barely. Nakamura recovers and finally does knock Garza to the floor. Ollie and Ricochet fight on the apron. Ricochet rocks Ollie with a knee on the tilt-a-whirl head scissors, sending Ollie to the floor. Ricochet attempts a springboard back into the ring. Corbin cuts him off. Uso nails Ricochet with a super kick, eliminates him. And then it comes down to Corbin, Nakamura, and Uso. Uso and Corbin sends him to the apron. Nakamura knocks Corbin to the floor. Uso and Nakamura are the final 2. Nakamura sets up Kinshasa, but Uso counters with a super kick. Nakamura recovers and hits Kinshasa. Uso fights back and tosses him for the win, winning the Battle Royal. And absolutely no one will remember this in a week. Anyway, final segment in the go-home is the push for Roman Reigns. Reigns comes out with Heyman. They make their way. They pipe in "You Suck" chants, which is just lame. Reigns is angry that he has to be there tonight. He's upset that he has a match where he can lose the title without getting pinned. I would be too. Reigns promises to show up Sunday night and win in the main event. Reigns then promises to win. He admits that Edge and Bryan had one good night. Reigns has good nights since SummerSlam. He notes that he's helped change the ratings. Do fans at home care about ratings? Not most of them. Reigns turns his attention to the Dreamers. Reigns points out that Bryan talks about making him tap out. He promised that Bryan wouldn't make him tap out Sunday. Makes fun of Edge for attempting to make a comeback story complete. Reigns isn't a dreamer. He's the head of the table. Reigns and Edge and Bryan. Reigns says they're just the start. He promises nobody can expect what's next. Reigns vows to retain the title. He quotes Heyman and said that this is a spoiler, not a prediction. Reigns promises that at the end of the night the world would acknowledge him as the head of the table. Reigns delivers this promo well, but I'm not sure that with all the run-ins you've done, why don't you do a run-in where these guys are brawling to go home? Don't know. Anyway, covered a 2-hour show in less than 15 minutes. We'll be back with more WCW Saturday Night, and we've got nearly 1,200 audios from old school, new school, and all points in between. Keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.